The night it happened, the air smelled like money and roses. I was just another server in a crisp black and white uniform weaving through the kind of party where the cars outside were worth more than the houses I'd grown up in. My name's Elena Cruz, and that night I wasn't a guest. I wasn't anyone important. I was just the girl carrying champagne glasses, trying to keep my head down and survive another shift. It wasn't just about the paycheck. Every dollar I made went toward my little brother Daniel's treatment. He's 17, smart as hell, funnier than anyone I know, but his lungs fight him every single day. The new therapy his doctor talked about it was a miracle, but it came with a price tag I could never reach, waiting tables and serving cocktails. So I smiled when people ignored me, smiled when they snapped their fingers like I was a machine, and prayed that the tips would add up to another dose of medicine. That night's party belonged to the Dalton family. Nathan Dalton, a man who built half the city's skyline, his wife Sylvia, porcelain, perfect, always smiling for the cameras, and their golden boy Brandon Dalton, who looked like privilege had been stitched into his very skin. He and his crowd laughed loud, clutched their glasses like trophies, and treated the staff like stage props. I'd perfected the art of being invisible until fate decided to shine the ugliest spotlight on me. I was moving past the terrace when some drunk guest stumbled into me. The tray jolted and one glass tipped just enough to spill its golden fizz straight down Brandon Dalton's pristine white jacket. Silence hit like a punch. The music still played, but all I heard was the weight of every eye turning toward me. Brandon looked down at the stain, then up at me, and his lips curled into the kind of smile people wear when they know they've caught prey. "You serious?" he said loud enough for the whole patio to hear. "This is Tom Ford." "Do you even know what this costs?" My hand shook. "I'm so sorry, sir. It was an accident. Someone bumped me." I reached out with a napkin to dab the fabric, but he slapped my hand away like I was dirt. Not hard enough to bruise, but sharp enough to slice my pride in two. The crowd gasped, then leaned in hungry. "Don't touch me," he hissed. "You people never understand value. To you, it's just clothes. To me, it's principle." I froze, my face burning. My manager tried to step in, muttering apologies, promising to pay for damages, but Brandon held up his hand. He wasn't finished. His friends circled like wolves smelling blood. "An apology isn't enough," he said. "She needs to learn consequences." His eyes flicked toward the glowing infinity pool, lit up like some cruel spotlight. My stomach dropped. "Please, sir," I whispered. "Don't." But he only grinned wider. "A quick dip should clean you right up." Laughter rippled through the crowd. They weren't shocked. They were entertained. I turned my head desperate, and that's when I saw him, the man who'd been standing alone near the terrace all evening. Gray suit, quiet eyes, no one around him. He wasn't laughing. He wasn't even smiling. He just watched, his jaw tightening like stone. But he was too far away. Brandon shoved me casually, like you'd push a chair out of the way. My heels caught the slick edge. For one horrifying moment, I was weightless. Then the cold swallowed me whole. The water wasn't even that cold, but humiliation made it feel like ice. My clothes clung heavy to my body. My shoes dragged me down, and when I broke the surface, gasping for air, the sound that greeted me wasn't concern. It was laughter. Pure, merciless laughter. Brandon bent over, clutching his stomach, tears streaming down his smug face. His friends clapped like it was the best show of the night. I pulled myself to the edge, fingers slipping, body trembling. Nobody offered a hand. Nobody even looked like they wanted to. And then shoes. Expensive leather shoes stopped right in front of me. A gray jacket slipped off broad shoulders and landed across mine, warm and smelling faintly of cedar. A voice, low and calm, cut through the laughter. "Are you all right, miss?" I looked up and saw him clearly for the first time. Marcus Hale. Self-made tech millionaire, though, I didn't know that yet. All I knew was that his eyes weren't mocking. They weren't cold. They were furious, but not at me. He crouched beside me. "You hurt." I shook my head, clutching his jacket like it was armor. Brandon sneered. "Hey, pal, mind your business. This is a staff issue." Marcus stood slowly, deliberately, and when he turned those eyes on Brandon, the whole patio went dead quiet. "A staff issue," he said softly, but the softness was sharper than any shout. "You humiliate and assault a young woman in front of all your guests, and you call it a staff issue." Brandon flinched, but tried to recover. "She spilled on me." Marcus didn't even let him finish. "And for that, you shoved her into a pool while you and your friends laughed. That's not discipline. That's cruelty." Nathan Dalton, the patriarch, tried to step in, all smiles and excuses. "Mr. Hale." "Please, boys will be boys. A little champagne, a little fun." "Fun?" Marcus cut him off, his voice dropping to a dangerous calm. "You call this fun? Public humiliation, assault." He let the words hang like a blade. "This isn't fun. Dalton, it's a character reveal." The crowd shifted, eyes darting anywhere but at him. Marcus turned back to me, handed me a card. "My driver will take you home. Call this number tomorrow. We'll replace your phone cover, your wages. You don't need to step foot in this house again." Then finally he faced Brandon full on. "You asked who I am. I'm the man your father's been begging to invest $100 million into his downtown project. And as of tonight, that deal is dead." The gasp that went through the patio was louder than the laughter had been. Nathan's face drained of color. "Marcus, wait, we can talk." "No," Marcus said. "I don't invest in buildings. I invest in people. And I've seen exactly what kind of people you are. Rotten to the core." He walked away, leaving silence in his wake. The empire that had seemed untouchable crumbled right there, not with a crash, but with a whisper of disgust. That night changed everything. Marcus kept his word. My brother's treatment was fully funded, not as charity, but through his foundation's medical program. He looked at my old portfolio, the paintings I'd abandoned when life became too heavy, and he pushed me back into the dream I'd buried. 6 months later, my work hung on the walls of a gallery downtown, and Daniel, healthy, smiling, cracking bad jokes, stood beside me, soaking it all in. The critics called my art raw, honest human. I just called it survival on canvas. People looked at my brother's portrait titled "Breathe," and they saw hope. For me, it was proof that humiliation doesn't have to be the end. Sometimes it's the baptism that forces you to rise. And what of the Daltons bankrupt? Forgotten. I overheard whispers at my own gallery, opening Brandon working a desk job in some cubicle, Nathan begging creditors for mercy. I thought I'd feel triumph, but honestly, I felt nothing. Their downfall wasn't my victory. My victory was the laughter of my brother, the smell of oil paint on my hands, the quiet nod Marcus gave me across the gallery floor. I'll never forget that night by the pool. They tried to drown me with shame, but instead I came out of the water with fire. So I'll leave you with this. What do you think? Was Marcus right to torch an empire over one act of cruelty, or was it too extreme? And tell me, have you ever witnessed someone stand up when nobody else would? Drop your stories in the comments. Let's talk about it. And if this story stirred something in you, hit that like button, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe. Because sometimes the smallest act of kindness is what changes everything.